Glory be given to God. I'm just excited to be right here seated before this camera so that I can answer some of the critical questions that you have been throwing right at my Facebook account. I don't take it lightly. I appreciate you and thank you so much, because he who asks questions wins. That's what a wise man once said. Go ahead and ask questions so that you may know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And this question particularly comes from Junju Gideon. Gideon, I appreciate you. Thank you for asking such a wonderful question, and I appreciate you to do so. To keep on doing so. This is quite an interesting story. An interesting question from Junju Gideon. If all Christians teach about God, why do we have different religions like Catholics, Protestants, whatever it is, I think, etc. It is quite interesting. It is quite interesting. So, if we are all Christians and teach about God, why do we have different religions? Junju, is because we divert from the original intent, from the original God's intent. Originally, God's great commission was go out in the whole world and preach the good news. Christianity, because Jesus never left the word called Christianity on earth. Christianity came way later, after Jesus had gone back to heaven. And this phrase Christianity was first introduced in the region called Antiochia, where people called believers Christians, but the aim was like they talk about Christ. Everything is Christ. They explain Christ. They refer to Christ. They talk Christ. Everything is Christ. So they call them Christians. Because all they were doing was explaining, preaching, proclaiming, talking, telling Christ. So why do we have different religions right now? Because we have deviated, and some preach things they don't understand, and others, like what Paul said, that some have started preaching the law, which they don't understand, and others preach a Christ rather than the Christ, and others preach the Spirit as a spirit rather than the Spirit. Why? Because there is the devil who misleads people using their different interests. Paul told the church in Philippians that some preach Christ out of rivalry, others out of selfish ambition, and yet others preach Christ out of a pure heart. So because of those different motives and desires, lead us to have different sects. But the thing is, if all of us were pure in heart, and our aim was to do the original plan of God, presenting Christ, you know what? We would have no need to have different religions. And also, people talk about God, and yet you cannot talk about God without Christ. So God bless you. I think I hope I have answered well, Gideon, and God bless you. Keep up asking more questions. God bless.
It's already done.